Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm chatting with Michael Judson from Record Resources. In today's interview, we talk about a recent transaction involving Record Resources, Recon Africa, and the government of Gabon that involves a deal that basically has the stock trading tons of volume. I know it's just this tiny little micro cap or nano cap, but it's a story that has caught many people's attention in the Canadian junior markets who are trying to figure out what's going on. So we figured it would be worth having Michael on to hear about the terms of the deal and where the company could be going from here. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, you're welcome.
So let's start off talking about oil, because you're now one of the new Canadian junior oil companies on the street. I thought it would be good to start off with asking you about your thesis on oil, whether you think oil can be back to sort of a bull market again with people caring about oil junior stocks. What's your outlook right now on oil prices and where the industry could be heading?
Well, I'm not much of an aggregate guy, but I have a few ideas on it or a few views. One is that oil's been out of favor for quite a while as a commodity play for the market. So I think maybe the cyclical shift may work in our favor at this time. As far as the price goes, it's impossible to ever predict the price of oil. Everyone's gets beat up all the time trying to do that. With the exception of a hedge fund or two that seem to get it right. I won't name who they are, but it's the only thing I feel about oil as a commodity is that it's evergreen. It always performs, even in the difficult, quote unquote, difficult times, whatever that means in terms of economic progress or economic activity. But I've been watching it for 30 years, and it always bounces back, even if it comes down to much lower levels. It seems to bounce right back, and we all know we're transitioning out of oil over the next generation. But for the moment, the world needs oil just for basic things, and so I see no. As long as I'm going to be in this business, I don't see a lot of slippage in it. I think we're good for another 15, 20 years here at least with it. So that's my horizon on it.
So let's get into Record Resources here, because this is a company that kind of looked like a shell up until this recent announcement, where you have announced a deal in Gabon, I believe it's pronounced, and you're going to be working alongside Recon Africa. Um, uh, the stock on the announcement, I forget how many shares you guys traded that day, but it was halted for a few days, is my understanding, and then you guys came out and you guys traded. Uh, I can't pull it up on my screen, but I think the number was like north of 10 million shares in one day. So there's clearly a lot of interest out there in what you're doing. Maybe you can walk us through sort of what Record Resources looks like under this current deal, what the deal is, and sort of, or the structure is, and what the terms of that announcement look like.
So this is something we've been working on for a long time. My partner Alain Mizel and I had been or have been looking at West Africa, in particular Gabon, for many years. So we were there back in 2017, looking at something called Barbier Southwest, now under the ownership of a company called Parenco, and they drilled a well into the target that Alain and I had identified and looked at, and they're flowing 4,000 barrels a day. So our thesis was bang on the mark. I think over the years, without tooting my horn too much, we've been very good at identifying great opportunities for investors, and we feel this is a continuation of that theme. This asset opportunity in Gabon is analogous, coincidentally, to the Barbier Southwest field. It sits just south of it, and structurally it looks very much like that target. As I said, the Barbier Southwest. I'm talking about the Loba, the Ngulu license or block, and in particular the location of the Loba well. So we're in geologically, we're in a great place. Gabon is a experienced oil producing country. They've been busy. I think production there is 200,000 barrels a day presently. So it's a big oil producing nation. We've got all the infrastructure in place that we need. We've got pipelines. We've got service companies. And so getting to production in Gabon is going to be easy to do because of the existing business that is there. In terms of the deals, Steve, we decided several months ago that the way to pursue the opportunity was through a joint venture setup. We signed the deal in June, and then within weeks we had identified a partner with a good balance sheet and a good technical background that would complement what we're doing there. So what we did, we had originally 75% of this deal inside of Record. We exchanged 55% ownership in exchange for the technical partner operating and covering us. More important, covering us for 4 years, the first 4 year commitment with the government. And that's how these agreements are set up. They're in phases of 4 years. And so that 4 years gives us time to drill the first well. The first well in the first capital program, consists of 20 million US in expenditures. We are financed fully on all of that. We don't have to do a thing. So that was the strategic decision that we made. I think it's a very, very good one, and it may be that we do that in the future on other opportunities. Simply bring in a larger partner and have them finance, and we sit back with a carried interest, and build shareholder value that way.
Okay, so my understanding here is that the deal structure is you guys have a 20% carried interest, which means that whatever money gets spent, you guys stay at a 20% ownership stake. So there's not
Yep,
really a dilution risk there.
exactly.
Recon Africa is taking 55%. The Gabon oil company is taking 15%, and the Gabonese Republic's taking a 10% carried interest.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
accurate.
yeah.
What does that spending commitment look like for you guys over that first period, say the first 4 years?
Well, it's 20% of 20 million US.
Okay.
So, yeah, there you go.
So you guys will have to be able to come up with $4 million
No, no,
over the.
that's what we're covered for effectively, right?
Okay.
No, we don't have to. No, let's be clear about this, Steve. This is an important aspect of the whole deal. We are fully funded through
There,
this initial period. Like, we
there's
don't have to
there.
spend anything.
Okay. And so is Recon Africa covering the entire spend for the first?
Everything. Seismic reprocessing, the drilling, all the G&G work that we have to do, everything is them.
Just high level here, I'm looking at that as a potential investor, and I'm thinking, yikes. I mean, this sounds almost too good to be true. Recon Africa is spending all the money. You guys have a 20% working interest in this. How did Recon Africa come into this deal? And just so that I understand, did you guys originally have the rights to this property and then you brought in Recon Africa? How
That's
did these partners come about?
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's been some misunderstanding in the market about this. We were the originators of the deal. We were the company that identified the opportunity. We were down in the country early in the summer to ink or to sign a memorandum of understanding that set out the basic terms of the contract. And then once we had that, Steve, we then sought the support of a partner. We had there was I'm going to be careful about describing identities or giving away all the participants, but there were some people that knew our company and knew Recon, and so the deal got put together very naturally that way. Um, I think what Recon was looking for here was near-term production. That was one of the things that we were looking for as well with this project. we knew, being financiers, we knew that it was going to be difficult to finance a pure exploration project. This had been drilled, was drilled in '76 by a French company. They hit oil. They didn't do a very good job with the well. They basically bailed on the hole, but they did find oil, and there was 70 meters of pay, of net pay. They intersected. So we know the oil is there. We have to be, from a technical point of view, you got to be careful when you know that one of the previous operators had difficulty with the well. You've got to be, very very careful with what your program is going to be. I think what we benefit from is 3D seismic. 3D seismic is vastly more useful than 2D seismic, Steve. It's changed the way in which oil and gas discoveries are made. It's just a lot easier with that technology. So we benefit from that. That's something that the French didn't have in the '70s and previous in operators even into the '80s. I'm not sure when 3D was finally put into place, but it took a while. So that was the quick history on it, Steve. So as I said, we just decided we bring in the partner. We'd give the partner the operatorship. We'd give the partner the larger interest, the 55%. We keep 20 and get funded through, as I said, the first 4 years.
So, Mike, if I'm an investor, I'm obviously wondering, okay, what does the timeline look like in terms of milestones, catalysts, that sort of stuff? I'm thinking, okay, we've got the potential for a pretty big deal here that could turn this tiny little nano cap
Yep.
into a cash flowing oil company
Yep.
that is suddenly going to end up on the radar of fund managers should this go to plan. Um, what does that look like over the near term? If I am watching you guys and I have you guys on a watch list, or I am investing, what should I be looking out for out of the company in terms of next steps?
Well, I wish we could say we're going to drill a well, next month, but as most people would understand, that's not how this business works. We're funded for it. The partner has just recently announced a funding in place, and so they're funded to do it. But I think with the timelines are roughly, Steve, 6 months on reprocessing the seismic, and I think we probably won't be drilling that well, or we won't be in production until 18 months. I think it's the earliest they can drill the wells about a year out, and so that's the very very loose timeline, Steve, that we're working with. But that's typical of the business. It's shallow water, it's offshore drilling. It's in shallow water. It's close to the existing infrastructure in Port-Gentil. Port-Gentil is like Aberdeen, Scotland. It's an oil services town. They've got everything there, and that's the loose schedule.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for hopping on here today. I think that you've got something here that I know people in the junior markets are certainly talking about. It's nice to see someone get rewarded when things are going well. I mean, uh, I'm new to investing in oil, so I'm following the story closely as somebody who's been invested here for a while. I'm looking forward to kind of learning and following what you guys are doing. Is there anything else you kind of want to convey to our audience that are watching this that may have any questions about the recent announcement?
Well, yeah, I do, and it's an important one. I think one of the things that we could offer investors is additional opportunity. So I can tell you that we are very busy working on the next deal, Steve, and the next deal is going to look very different from this one, and I'm not going to, again, I have to be careful what I say here, but we have excellent deal flow in that country. We have the political connections there to make things happen. And again, that's just based on a lot of experience and some people around us that know the landscape there very, very well. And so we're working. This is just the beginning. As I said in my video that we shot, which went out today, this is the first step. We've got other things that we want to do inside of
Well,
Gabon, and Gabon wants us there doing them. So it's a really it's a great situation. It feels very, very good. And I'm really happy to be here with this.
Now, I don't want to pry too much into trying to get material non-public information out of you, but can you maybe at least give us some sort of commentary of, are you looking at other oil deals or would these be other commodities?
Oil,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
and
Well,
and shall we say potentially production situations.
okay.
Okay,
So,
so value, hugely value creative, hugely value adding opportunities.
wow. Okay.
Yep,
Well, look, you've already got one announcement that I think is incredibly exciting. If you're telling me that you're working on some similar type arrangements, then you got certainly got my interest.
yep.
Thanks very much for doing this, Michael. I appreciate you sitting down with us, and I'm sure as more announcements come in, we're going to be asking you to come back on and continue to break it down for us.
Steve, thank you, and thanks, Chris and Matt Lewis. Thank you, thanks, guys. Appreciate the support.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this interview, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.